Let's speak now to a spokesperson for the SACP, Dr Alex Mashilo. Doctor, thank you for being with us. So Janusz Walus is staying behind bars, but not for the reasons that you wanted him to.
Yes, definitely not for the reasons that we wanted him to, but he should in the first place remain behind bars. I must say that our legal team has launched papers to the Constitutional Court for reconsideration of its judgment and for its rescission. Yesterday, we wrote to the Minister of Justice and Correctional Services and the Minister of Home Affairs based on the utterances made by Janusz Walus' legal team to seek clarification regarding those particular utterances. We received a paper and will tomorrow at 10 o'clock start our central committee meeting to consider progress in the response that we have started implementing thus far.
Are you confident? Let me rephrase that. Do you have any hope that you will receive a rescission order from the Constitutional Court? You're asking the court to basically change its mind, and I can't remember the court ever doing that.
Look, you can't remember the court ever doing that indeed, but that is a procedure provided for in our law. So when we made the application, we were advised by our legal team that something needs to be reconsidered there. If you read the judgment, you will no doubt come to a conclusion that there were only two parties affected or participating in the matter on the 22nd of February this year. That being the Minister of Justice and Correctional Services on the one hand, and the convicted assassin on the other hand. This is because the judgment goes at length to evaluate the submissions made orally and in writing by the assassin on the one hand and the Minister of Justice and Correctional Services on the other. In addition, the judgment is also informed by things that were not submitted in the court, but came from, as we look at it, research conducted by the Constitutional Court itself going back to 1957. However, the Hani family and the SACP are not given equal access to the court as public service, in that the judgment does not fully assess the submissions made by the Hani family and the SACP. And in that regard, we believe, as advised by our legal team, the Constitutional Court committed an act of omission, and that is a patent error. Insofar as equality before justice is concerned.
All right, we will follow the legal process. Doctor, while I have you, the SACP's expectations, we were expecting to hear from the President tonight. That has been postponed. He's looking at that very damning panel findings against him, those findings against him. What do you hope that the President does? What do you expect to hear from him?
The report was handed over to the Speaker of Parliament yesterday around 10. It was made available late afternoon, early evening yesterday online. We have accessed it as the SACP and gave a copy to our Central Committee members. The reason why we did so is that the report was made available on the eve of our Central Committee meeting, which starts tomorrow at 10 a.m. The meeting will conclude on Sunday with a press briefing at 1 o'clock in Johannesburg to announce the key outcomes of the meeting. What happens under the circumstance when a report is released on the eve of such a serious meeting? You allow the elected members who constitute the Central Committee to come to the meeting to reflect what their views should be and what the way forward must be, over and above the work that is done by the Secretariat led by Soli Mapaila to engage with these matters on a day-to-day basis. So what we will do is to announce our stance on Sunday at 1 p.m. at the post-meeting press briefing of the Central Committee. But there are certain principles that we wish to emphasize. We act consistently as the SACP. When we encouraged and adopted the resolution that was adopted by the ANC, that any one of its leaders and members who may be charged in the court of law should step aside, and failing which that person must be suspended. We are going to maintain that. We are not going to change that. And when the president himself said, should he be charged in a court of law, he will step aside, we accepted that direction he has given, and we have no doubt that he will stick to it should he be charged. However, in the intervening period, we will have to look at the entire text of the report and announce our stance, because insofar as the report is concerned, it's a report relating to a parliamentary process. Okay. We are looking forward to a collective alliance leadership on that process.
All right, and let's see what happens in the meantime as well. Thank you very much, SACP spokesperson Dr. Alex Mashilo.